Okay, so this person asked, tell us everything you prepared for. Did he notice the differences? And oh my God, tell me everything. So the first thing that I did was I changed the beneficiary on everything. Everything, bank accounts, investment accounts, etc. Anything that the former beneficiary of, that was him, was now my dad or my mom. Just in case anything happened to me during that duration, I wanted to make sure that my son was protected and that he was able to get the money directly through my parents. The second thing I did was that I did consult 2 attorneys to ask what my options were, what should be my next steps, and how much was this going to cost me. The third thing I did was I started lining up specialty doctor's appointments to make sure that I was on birth control because I was not getting trapped into a pregnancy. Make sure that I had a good understanding of what my current health was and where I wanted to be. And then, sorry, I had to sneeze. And then also get all of my documentation and records so that way I had them if we were to, separate. The next thing I did, and I know I talked about this in the last video, was therapy. Therapy, therapy, therapy. Therapy not only for you mourning your marriage and learning coping tactics, but therapy also for addressing your deficiencies in the relationship. And yes, ladies, we do have deficiencies in the relationship too. I think that personal accountability is very important, and understanding that the breakdown of the marriage was not solely responsible of one person. There's also things that you probably did too that resulted in the breakdown of the marriage, and addressing that head on is going to be a critical part of your healing. Another thing I did was start documenting expenses. How much money was going out from my account on basics, everyday expenses. This is going to help you when you put together your financial affidavit, because you're going to want to be able to tell them, this is what I spend money on, this is how much is going out, this is how much is coming in, etc., etc., etc. Another thing I did was I picked up a side hustle. Not only did I always have a side hustle. I've always had a side hustle, but I made sure that I had a side hustle that was bringing in a good amount of income that I could skate by on. Now, I girl bossed too close to the sun and was making a good amount of money, and that kind of bit me in the ass in the end because I have to pay child support, I have to pay the majority of my son's expenses, etc., etc. However, do you know how good it feels knowing that you're a baddie? Do you know how good it feels? And the last thing that I'm going to mention in this video is I made sure to continue to keep things normal for our son. We never fought in front of him. We never really had any discourse in front of him. I maintained the status quo. I was healing on the inside, screaming on the inside, crying on the inside, but he would have never known. He would have never suspected a thing because I kept status quo. We kept going to Disney, just him and I. That was our thing. Him and I had Disney annual passes, and we would just go together, continue to do our things together. I maintained all of my relationships with my friends and made sure that I intentionally had girls' nights with them, took time for myself, and which is something that I never really did. Guys, got a massage and facial membership. Self-care. But the big thing was maintain the status quo around the child, because you do not want to cause them trauma you just don't want to cause them trauma. I'm sure there's a lot more things that I did, and I'm going to write them down, but these are the ones that I can remember off the top of my head, so stay tuned for part 2 of this one.